I'm delighted to welcome all of you to CHPC's 49th annual luncheon. Thanks to your help and generous support, we can continue to bring you ideas to build a city on that are sensible, reliable, and objective. My own involvement with CHPC began in 1969 as an intern, eager to learn what I could from CHPC's illustrious board and staff. What I learned right away that it was Marion Samuth, CHPC's associate director, who we honor today, along with board member Ruth Dickler and Frances McGee, who really ran the organization and were there to teach us beginners. In those days, I was a young guy from Brooklyn trying to figure out how to balance an interest in the city's public sector with an interest in private sector financing. At CHPC, I found a deep commitment to the city's future, a nurturing environment for learning, a connection to mentoring leaders in the field, and 3 new moms who helped me on my way. Many of us owe a great debt to Marion Samuth in particular, and so it is great pleasure for us to honor her six decades of service to CHPC today. Thanks again for coming, and I'll turn you over to our Executive Director, Geraldine Perrine.
Thank you, Marvin. Today we've organized a program that we think is entertaining, fun, frank, and filled with our friends. So we hope you'll just sit back and enjoy the ride. And of course, you're free to pass electronic notes, but only on vibrate, please. This year, CHPC leapt into the 21st century with new offices, new space for our historic archive, more young people working with us. We have our 4th William R. Ginsburg Fellow for the summer, Ricardo Gotla, and many new issues to focus on. We've been thinking about how the million more people who are planned to come to New York will actually fit into our built city, and what kind of housing choices will they really have. This has led us to work with our colleagues at the New York City Housing Authority on the future of public housing, with our friends at Forsyth Street Advisors on financing green buildings, and with a fantastic CHPC committee chaired by Roseanne Haggerty, we are rethinking standards for dwelling units. But mostly, as Marvin said, today is really about recognition and remembrance, recognizing those who have made lasting contributions to our city and remembering those whose impact should never be forgotten. Everyone in our program today is one of those people, smart and innovative in their professional work, generous and supportive of their colleagues, and involved in a variety of causes in their not-so-free time, from the arts to mentoring young people in the construction trades. I wanted to just take a minute to remember another such person from the HPD community, Susan Ponce de Leon. She was a legendary teacher and mentor at HPD, training successive waves of new staff in the complexities of real estate finance, and always finding creative solutions that saved many needed projects. Susan was special because she knew why the numbers were important and what the projects would mean to real people living in the 3-dimensional world out there. And it's lovely that Artemis Construction has named a building in her honor, Susan's Court. Her loss shook us to the bone. Some of Susan's friends are organizing a scholarship in her name that we wanted to announce today for a graduate MPA student at Baruch's College's School of Public Affairs. So you can find information about how you might get involved with us in our program today. So please take it with you and don't just throw it away, and help if you can. I am really delighted to introduce Lucille McEwen, who's going to present the Ebo Balton Community Planner Award. Lucille is an attorney as well as an MBA, and we share our alma mater, CCNY, the best college in the world. And thank you, yes. And like many of us in the room today, she's also an alumnus of HPD, where she was director of the Harlem MPP office. She was the first director of the Neighborhood Entrepreneurs Program, where she really created all the infrastructure, both political and practical, which made that program a success. And she was the Assistant Commissioner for Tax Incentives. She was the General Counsel and Chief of Staff at the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone. She's on the board of CHPC, and she's the CEO and President of the Harlem Congregations for Community Improvement. Lucille is one of the very rare people whose intellect and talents are so great that she makes everything she does look easy. She's a Harlem resident, a published writer, an accomplished fisherman, a fabulous travel companion, as I know firsthand, and a dear friend. Lucille McEwen.
My fingerprints are all over it. Good afternoon. One of the people who Geraldine was referring to, who was a passionate planner, was Ebo Balton. He was a longtime friend, having followed me after I followed Denise Scott in the Harlem NPP office. We often talked about all of the issues facing Harlem, and I'm sure if Ebo were here today, he would have been knee-deep in the 125th Street rezoning and the Columbia expansion plan. And both of those plans may have been better for his presence. But this award is really to make sure that his name continues to ring on in the Harlem community and in the housing community. Ebo passed at a time which we thought was prematurely. Often we're mourning people who have had a very long career in housing and community development. His was cut short, but his work was tremendous. I'm very happy to introduce today Brian Cheigh. It's an unusual spelling. I had to think about that. Brian Cheigh is currently the Deputy Director for Housing Development at St. Nicholas Neighborhood Preservation Corporation in Brooklyn. He got his baptism by fire as a senior project manager at HPD and worked extensively with Ebo. He worked on several projects, including Cornerstone, MERP, and Site 5B in Tribeca, Friendly Hands Apartments in East Harlem, and the New Housing New York project in the Bronx. His passion and dedication for affordable housing and community development enabled him to tirelessly take on significant challenges while at HPD. And he has taken this passion and dedication to Greenpoint, Williamsburg, where I think that's the only community in New York that can really compete with Harlem for all the activity that's going on right now. Brian holds a master's degree in city planning from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Congratulations, Brian, on this award. I'm sure Ebo is smiling down on you today.
I just want to say something really brief. When Geraldine Perim called me, I was having a very tough week because she called me on Friday, and the following day I had to go to Korea because my grandfather was very ill. And when she called me and to inform me that I had been awarded the Ebo Balton Community Planner Award, it reflected back on when Ebo himself was very sick, and then he passed away. And one lesson I had with my colleagues was that we learned to remember Ebo for when he was alive and when he was active, and he was a good colleague, and how much of a good friend he was and a great city planner. And I'm also very surprised to hear that the Susan Ponce de Leon Memorial Scholarship has been awarded, because I also worked under Susan PDL, and just to see that mentioned here is just amazing. And I also am appreciative that I'm coming after that as well. So I really appreciate being part of all this. And I've only been in this field for 2 years, and I hope that I can keep, I can keep going, and hopefully I can see future recipients of this award. Thank you very much.